Man has like a lot of meanings. All it means is that we're representing nature. All our focus is only on quality, but without the pompousness behind all that. You can serve really, really good food, have amazing service, and that doesn't mean that there needs to be an aura of pretentiousness behind that. The guests that we get are extremely happy with the fact that people can be themselves and are allowed to be themselves, because that just is what makes sense. We'll always have this restaurant set up to deliver the best guest experience in the way that we want to deliver it. If the guests wanted to, they could get up and they could walk in there. It wouldn't bother us. We wanted everything to be open, nothing above waist height and things like that, because I feel like if somebody's good at their job, it's good to watch that. It's like going to a sushi bar and I'm watching a master sushi chef make sushi. It's fascinating. 15 years ago when I started cooking, you weren't allowed to be seen in the dining room. From every perspective, for a chef to be able to serve the people they're cooking for, and for them to be out there to be seen. Because before, the only connection that you had basically didn't exist with a guest. You wouldn't have a connection with guests because all you saw was a piece of paper with what they wanted to eat on it. Whereas this way, it's amazing for all of us, when we're putting all this work and all this energy into what we produce. People are putting our work inside their bodies. It's a very personal, almost intimate thing that you're doing with people. So having them out here, the chefs, and for them to be able to see us work and for us to be able to see them and speak to them and explain what we've done for them, that's something that should have been happening a very, very long time ago, in my opinion. Jan Dobbs owns Growing Field 28, and we just initially wanted some small trays of sort of nasturtiums, marigold, things like that, just to use in our servings. We don't just put a couple of things on for decoration, we actually tried to make them a fundamental part of that serving. And she was very small when we first started out. She's actually a dentist. She does my teeth now, after meeting her through buying herbs off her. But she's expanded and now she's growing vegetables and things like that. And we actually have a couple of servings on the menu which are entirely using her produce, which is great because it means that we can then that serving has a story and we can say everything on this plate came from the same place, which is nice and definitely has sort of a natural synchronization on the plate. But somebody that's very exciting to work with just because they're, again, so passionate about what they produce. Somebody who we can essentially say, this is what we want at this time of year, this is how big it needs to be, and we'll end up getting what we want, the product that we want, and have a connection to it as well. Scottish seafood is revered around the world, and that's why the menu is always going to be, I suppose, seafood driven as much as it is vegetable driven, because we're an island and we haven't been using all this amazing produce that we have in the country. Basically, we have 5 snacks normally on the menu, and the first things you get when you get to the table are these 5 servings that represent the elements, because that is what manna means. So the langoustine for us is earth and water. So obviously the water being the langoustine. And then we thought, what comes from the earth and what would complement it nicely? Pine or spruce. So we just make a spruce salt, we make a spruce vinegar. We really wanted to evoke the smell of that pine as well, so we just put it on a skewer where people can just pick it up, and we burn the pine so that when they put it close to their face to eat the langoustine, they can smell the burnt pine. So it's just very much an amalgamation of sea and earth. Manor is a representation of what we use. It's about the products. And it doesn't make any sense for us to not understand where they come from, understand how it's grown or how it's reared. We get our Wagyu beef from Highland Wagyu, the most passionate farmers that I've ever met. The questions that I was asking were, is it massaged every day? Do they get fed beer? Do they listen to classical music? Because Wagyu is produced, or Kobe is produced in such a massive amount in Japan, they basically don't allow them to roam around. So we found that with Highland Wagyu, we could get a full-blood Wagyu, that it's sustainable, the animals lived a happy life, and it's been looked after well. Martine especially, the wife, is basically in love with these animals. She really takes so much care of them, and just, this is why it's important that we go and see this. It's important for us to reflect their values. It's the treatment of the animal, which is what makes Highland Wagyu special. We're gonna probably have something that we can be very proud to put on a plate. What we do in terms of the development of the menu and how we put things together, it is a very natural process because we just cook what's out there. You know, we're not doing, we don't have a laboratory. We're not trying to dissect flavors and things like this. We use a retired dairy cow for a tartare because of the depth of flavor that has when it's raw. In the idea behind the serving where we wanted to make beef tartare actually taste like beef. You know, we're not trying to create these crazy flavor combinations where things don't taste of what they are anymore. And I had a beef tartare when I was out somewhere, and it just tasted of capers, shallots, gherkins, egg yolks, everything that went into it. And it didn't make sense to me. I was like, oh, beef tartare doesn't actually taste like beef. The right product for that serving was a retired dairy cow because of the age of it. It lives its life as a Frisian first, and then it's reconditioned to be able to use for consumption. Because normally it's dog meat, it's just ground up dog meat because it's no good. And you speak to most farmers and say, oh, I've got retired dairy cow on the menu, and they just, what? I'm not paying to eat a retired dairy cow. A lot of chefs, I think, are just used to, leaving a message on an answer machine and just saying, I need this, I need this, I need this. And then it arrives the next day by a delivery driver. And he just had no part in in making that product what it is. And it's completely losing a connection. And then that's when chefs develop this idea that what they do is the most important thing. It's not.
I think they're a little bit more fragrant. These we can pickle. Fill it up.
We found a park basically in Stockport where a lot of wild things grow. Like a hell of a lot of of things that are very easy to use as well. Things like woodruff, elderflower, sorrel, wild garlic. But in terms of why we use wild ingredients, it's just because I feel like they have more of a lifeblood than something that's farmed. Obviously it's organic. There's no pesticides, there's no GMOs, there's no human interference whatsoever. It's literally the most organic thing you can find, because it's wild. And things also tend to taste stronger when they're wild. I think it's something to do with the fact that obviously the plant needs to be stronger for it to grow, to survive. A rump steak tastes like more than a fillet because it does more work. That's my theory behind it anyway. and just very much concentrating everything that's out there into this space. We want it to be an almost overwhelming experience when people come. Getting all these different things from all around the country, we find helps us to achieve that.